Hello, Steve White, Steve White 9. Well, I finally caught up with Quantum Leap. I enjoyed the first season. I watched every episode. I did reviews week to week, and then I kind of lost the show. I didn't hear about it coming back, and by the time I realised it had came back, it was halfway through or towards the end of the season, and I didn't even know where to find it, and I just forgot about it. But then I discovered that they actually had Quantum Leap on Seven's app. What's it called? 7 Plus, which is one of the local stations here in Australia. And I thought, oh, I'll watch it. And then I looked at it and it had season 1. I'm like, oh. And then I looked the other day and they had the first 2 episodes of season 2. So I thought, okay, I'll watch that. And then I finally got around to it a week later and actually had episode 3 as well. So I watched the first 3 episodes. I watched the first 2 together and then I had a bit of a break because I needed a bit of a break. For about 12 hours, and I just watched the third episode so I could basically watch it before I go to sleep and do these reviews all in one go. So yeah, I forgot how last season ended. I thought it ended differently. I remember the whole Earth, the world annihilated sort of. I thought that's where they left it off. I was like, oh, what happened there? I totally forgot. So I went back, and the start of the episode made no sense. So I had to go back to the end of the last episode, and then I remember the last episode. I'm like, oh, that's right. And it ends with them expecting him to come back, and you just see Addison's face looking a little bit odd, and then it ends, and I'm like, okay, that's a bit of a cliffhanger. We really didn't know what was going to happen there. Well, what happened was he didn't come back. He was lost for 3 years, and doesn't appear again at some leap destination until 3 years later. And I've forgotten the name of the guy. Oh, actually, you know what? We don't actually know how they found him yet. He told Magic that he left basically a computer on to detect if Ben showed up, because they apparently tried to find him for 2 years, and then they got shut down by the government. And then 4 months later, Addison, the nasty, I've been calling her nasty names all day, the nasty lady, found someone else and has been in a relationship for 8 months. Like, she just gave up on him. This guy sacrificed his whole life, to basically protect her, so she didn't end up in this situation. And, 8 months, and she's like, found someone else. So not impressed with her, and also not really happy with how the story is going and what the series is now. It's like, it was this couple that were, she was trying to get him through this thing, and now it's like that's his ex, and now she's going to be there saving him and the constant companion and everything. I'm like, this is not a dynamic. This is kind of like when the Sonny and Cher show changed to the post-divorce Sonny and Cher show. It just can't quite work the same. So yeah, I was like, really? I can see why season 2 didn't do as well, because they filmed season 1 and 2 back to back, which is why they didn't have to worry about season 2 not being cancelled, because they got the green light during the production of the first season, just kept going right through. Season 3 may not happen because the ratings have gone down, and I can see why. If they took the basic romance out of it, although that was my main criticism of the first season, that they weren't just friends and work people working together on this mission. It's an ex, and I thought it was a bit too involved, a bit too romantic, and then that's what they took out of it, and I'm like, yeah, now I feel like it's missing. So I think that's a huge mistake. Now, will she finally fall back in love with him because, blah, 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 the other guy was just filler because he was gone and he's the only one? Are they going to go that way with it? Or are they going to go with them just being awkward professionals and deal with it that way? I don't know. But the first story was about, oh my God, I've actually forgotten. Oh, 1978, yeah, that's right. He's stuck with these military people who think they're protecting some cargo, but they're just a decoy. And it's all about surviving, basically being hunted by military guys, and he has no idea what's happened yet. It's not until the end of the episode, and it's fairly disposable, this episode. There's a couple of funny moments between the characters. But then at the end, Addison shows up, and he works out what happened, and it's fairly crushing seeing his sad little angry little eyes looking at her, and she's like can't look him in the eye. The second episode, Ben and Teller, was a little bit funnier. He's a old I think he's Mexican lady who's in her 70s. She works in a bank. She's literally a teller, and they're getting robbed by her friend's younger brother who works there. The friend works there, and he manages to basically save the day because a bunch of people got shot back in the day, and he gets them all out. It works fairly well. The brother ends up shooting, because the brother is not the leader of this little group of robbers. He's actually being led by this other guy, and he shoots him because he's going to shoot his sister, and then he ends up going to jail, but basically they all live, so it's a win. And at the end of that episode, they do talk a little bit, and he realizes that, I think they dole it out slowly. The first time he realizes it's been 3 years, and then he realizes that they're not together and she's actually found someone else. It's the end of the episode. He leaves, and yes, again, sad little, angry little eyes. I feel so bad for him. Then I actually kind of needed to take a break because I was a bit too upset for him to watch another episode, and I literally spent the day calling her horrible names because what a horrible person. Giving up on someone, like that. There's no proof he was dead. Just because the military's like, yeah, we're closing this project. Seriously? Really disappointed. I don't believe this character, the character that we spent last year with, would actually do this. So it's not the best writing so far as the direction of the series. Now the third episode was a lot more fun. It was called Closure Encounters, and it's basically Ben is like working for the Project Blue Book people, and there's a girl who's had an accident and another girl who's in a coma, and she says she was chased by a UFO, and they're investigating, and what they find out is a little disappointing because it's not actual aliens, because they actually had like demons and possessions in the first season, so why can't they have real UFOs? It's basically a government facility that is being is on some land that's being leased by someone in the town, and they drugged the girls and they gave one too much. So they eventually work all this out, and there's a weird moment where the daughter, her mother's died of cancer, and the grandfather, who is also the sheriff, is sort of trying to get her out of the trouble, obviously, because the guy who is running the leasing the Air Force base, the land to the Air Force base, he's like the big wig who owns half the town, and he wants her charged, and she ends up being charged, or did end up being charged in the other timeline. There's a point where she's promising him on her mother's life something, and I'm like, her mother's dead. Is she in touch with reality here? What's happening here? They didn't go anywhere with that. I'm like, was that just a mistake? Was that just, what was that? They didn't explain it. Don't know what that was. But basically they solve the problem. They get enough proof to basically blackmail the military guys into closing the base, and basically giving the other girl the antidote to this injection so she doesn't die, and giving getting the daughter out of the trouble, and getting her basically her education paid for, and a new car basically. So they're just getting whatever they want. And then Ben suggests that they take their base to a little area called Area 51. So that was a nice little touch. But yeah, there is a moment during the episode because Ben's getting a bit reckless, and Addison is like, "You're not listening to me," and he's like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Yeah, you don't want to hear from you, lady." And there is quite a good moment where he basically he's risking his life. He came up with a crazy idea. It does work, but it's crazy. And she's like, "I buried you once. I don't want to bury you again." He's like, "Nobody asked you to. You gave up on me. Don't give up on me again." And I'm like, ooh, boom, boom. But yeah, so she didn't leave him as a hologram. She stayed with him. They, solved the case, and apparently they're going to move on and work together. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I love the character of Ben. Addison is okay, but she's really, I don't like her so much now that she's like the ex who abandoned him. Before, she was just the not quite good enough for him girlfriend. Yeah, so I really don't know whether, usually these things, they just set something up, some big stupid roadblock or change because they feel like they're either bored or scared about the series. I feel like they need to do something dramatic to make a change or make people pay attention or make people watch who weren't interested before or something, and then they sort of go back on it or they fix that problem. I don't know if sometimes they just go with it and things change permanently. I don't know where they're going with this series, but I don't know. I'm going to keep watching. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing with this dynamic between Ben and what's her face. But I'm going to go. This is really long. I normally do like 5-minute reviews of shows, but I guess 3 episodes in 10 minutes is not too bad.